Well, hello there. How are you? Today, I've been tagged, actually I was tagged last night by James Bayer of Before and After Shaves. He had just been tagged by She Shaves with Jill to do the 3 razors, 1 shave video, which originated with Kevy Shaves. And so I'm going to do that today. And I've already prepped my face with Lievre Blanc shaving oil from a vendor in Quebec who is on Etsy. I may put a link to him down below. And before I get to my razors, I'll show you my brush, which is a Lancaster Razor Works brush, synthetic knot. And this guy also is on Etsy. I should leave a link to him. I've lathered up my brush in the Timeless Razor shaving bowl, and today I'm going to be using it's a shaving cream I haven't used for a while, and this was all the rage a while back, the Body Shop Maca Root shave cream, which I've used this before. It's very slick and very nice. So, well, let's see. I'll reach in the regular medicine cabinet off camera here, and I'm going to use 3 Merkur razors that I happen to have handy here, and I'll just use them in the order in which they appear in my cabinet. I've got them stacked one on top of the other. This will be the Progress razor, which I used recently in another video. And I'll take that out there. Excuse me, I had to pop away for a second to take care of something. But yeah, I have this here, and well, let me see. We're going to see what kind of blade I got in this. Because I'm going to do probably just whatever blades in these. I've got a Centwin blade. It's been used twice already. I'm going to go ahead and flip that over. Oops. There goes everything. I'll go ahead and flip that over because sometimes I am a blade flipper. And let's see. Let me make sure I get everything lined up here. Because as it's been pointed out, there's a line there that you want to line up with the little arrow there so that this calibrates correctly. And I'll go ahead and make sure that's on there, and then I'll dial it up to my favorite go-to setting on here, which is a 3. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it's on 3. And I'll double check that. Yep, that's on 3. And before I pull out the other razors, I'll go ahead and start trying to lather up here. And I hope you're all doing well out there. Might want to wet this just a little bit. Oops, a little too much water again. With some of these brushes, especially the synthetic ones, and when using a cream too, I find that sometimes it is all too easy for me to err on the side of not having, or I mean rather of having too much water in my lather than having not enough, you see. So, yeah, still kind of flinging some water here. So, apparently, and this isn't my first rodeo with a synthetic brush, but occasionally, especially lately, I seem to find that they hold water to a fault. At least the ones I do seem to hold water to a fault. And I'd like to, excuse me, I'd like to get this nice and thick on my face as much as possible. So the first razor here, well, none of these will be a big surprise, but the first one I did use recently, and I'll go ahead and use it again. for pass number 1, which will be with the grain here. I'll just wipe the excess water off myself here. And I have had good luck with this Centwin blade. It seems to me that I have anyway. I cut my own hair today, just buzzed it off with a $10 set of electric clippers that I got from a dollar store. I've had those for a while. This haircut may be all too familiar for Jill from She Shaves with Jill, because if I remember correctly, she said she served in the Marine Corps during the Vietnam era. And, well, excuse me, I'm going to rinse the razor. And nice so far, very nice. It was nice of James Bayer to tag me. No one's ever tagged me to do anything. And incidentally, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way so I don't forget. And I know who this is going to be, but sometimes I forget things. I'm going to right now tag Joy Shaving to do this 3 razor 1 shave deal. So if you're out there, or I'll message you or something, I hope you see this, or I hope I can message you, and hopefully you'll be the next to do this. Well, I'm enjoying this so far, all right. Just a little bit more to go here for this first pass. I was getting things ready for this shave and doing some other things. My phone had to update a couple of apps and so forth, and I forget what else I was doing. But my shaving oil, this little Lievre Blanc, had several good minutes to sit on my face and kind of soak in. I find that anytime I use an oil, shaving oil or whatever kind of oil, tea tree oil, as a pre-shave, it certainly helps me anyway to let it sit on the face for a while before I commence to lathering. That way I do get a better lather and I think just a better shave overall. Okay, now I'm going to pop out, pop back in, freshly lathered for a second pass, and I'll reveal the next Merkur razor. They're all 3 Merkur razors today, across the grain. Got a little weeper, I don't know if you can see that, I got a little weeper on my nose of all places. It doesn't hurt, but somehow with a razor that it's kind of hard to catch yourself under the nose with, I managed to catch myself under the nose. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. But anyway, I'll set this aside, the Merkur Progress, and let's see. I was going to do this in a kind of a random order, but I think I might actually put a little method to the madness here, and well, I have a reason why I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it here. The Merkur 34C HD 2-piece razor. These are all 2-piece razors, really. And now I want to see what I've got in here as far as a blade. I haven't looked beforehand. Oh, okay, this should be interesting. I'll make sure, yeah, second use. No need to flip it. And it's one of these new old stock professional surgical steel blades. kind of a brass or gold colored blade there. And I'll get this back to the way it goes. And this will be for my second pass across the grain. I'll wet that just at least a little bit. And I'm going to freshen up this lather too a little bit. Thinning out on me, and I don't usually have any appreciable problem with this cream dissipating, but sometimes these things happen. So, just kind of painting it on. Nice brush. It doesn't have a tremendous amount of backbone, but you don't always need that. But anyway, it's a nice brush. And here I go across the grain. Very random assortment of blades today. These blades came with a razor I got used off of eBay, and right offhand, the one I have in here, I got several of these professional blades with an old razor. In fact, I don't think I've ever bought new old stock blades separately. I think they've always come along with old razors that I bought, used razors. They're kind of fun sometimes. Okay, continuing here. Oh, that's funny. Just a second ago I saw there's a little red flashing dot on this camera here, and for a minute I thought it was some kind of really big weeper on my chin or neck or something that I didn't see. Huh. Now that's funny right there. Went down to Kansas for a little bit today. That was fun. Went through a town that I hadn't been to in 21 years. Over 21 years. Pretty little town. Nice little place. It's a place that hasn't been bypassed by one of these interstate highways with a capital I. And so it's still got a lot of its old charm. Excuse me again. I think this was the first razor, no, it was the second razor I bought online, I think. My first that I bought online was a Wilkinson sword, one of those two-piece Wilkinson sword plastic razors with the metal insert in the handle. And that first one I got with a kit. And so many people were raving about either this as a good starting razor, the Merkur 34C, which this is here. Either that or the Edwin Jagger, I think it was, the DE89. Either of those were recommended highly as good starter razors, and I was not as far along into my traditional shaving then. Okay, well, I'm going to pop back in freshly lathered, and I'll unveil the third Merkur razor. Oh, and against the grain. Okay, I went ahead and pulled this out of its box. All the boxes look similar, but this is the Merkur 37C slant razor. And this is really good for finishing up, and maybe I'll do pickups too here, but third pass, third razor against the grain. Now I guess technically this is buffing, going over the same spot over and over, usually with short strokes. And I think there's actually a way you do it where I've heard the razor doesn't leave the face at all. But someone told me I was buffing once during pickups, and technically, or maybe it wasn't just during pickups, maybe during all the passes, but technically I may not have been buffing. Yeah, I guess this is buffing, something like that. There's also J hooking and whatever else. Yeah, I was originally just going to do these in the order in which they were stacked in my cabinet, but I find when you're getting down, or when I'm getting down towards the third pass and pickups, that's when I really seem to appreciate a razor, a slant of some kind perhaps, that follows the contours of my face nicely. And in theory, although it may not always work out this way, it makes it less likely that I'll have to do a lot of buffing or just going over trouble spots, but we'll see here. We'll see how it goes. Not much scent on this cream, although I tend to find most creams don't have as much scent as soaps do necessarily, but it is a unique scent. It does smell kind of like the root of, well, a plant, the maca root, whatever that is. I haven't done a lot of research, heaven forbid, but yeah. And it probably shows sometimes that I don't do all my research, all my homework. This little weeper up here, although you can still see it, it's the blood is clotting, coagulating. So it's kind of sealing itself up. I did have a touch of overflow of that cream up here too. Maybe that helped, I don't know. Almost not a bad scent, but almost a slightly medicinal scent to this cream. And while most of the traditional shaving community seemed to be raving about this cream a couple of years ago or more, there were a couple of people that I think were like somewhat allergic to it or something. They said it burned their face or something. I haven't really experienced that. If I did get any burn, it was very slight. There are certain products that I'll get a slight burn from, but nothing that makes me not want to use them again. Well, I was debating over what to do now, because it's time for me to pop out and come back re-lathered for pickups, and maybe just to screw with things, I'll pull in a fourth razor just to screw the whole process up. Or I could have just done some touch-ups with this, but well, let me decide what I'm going to do here, but I'll be back for pickups. Okay, I'm back for pickups, and I'm just going to stick with this, what I used on my third pass against the grain, this Merkur 37C slant razor. And I wanted to look in there because I made a mistake. I hadn't looked in here yet to see what the blade is. Well, how about that? It's a Personna blade, and I think that's its first use. Yeah. So a Personna blade on the first use is what I have in there. Personna Lab Blue is what it is. So that's nice. I'll go ahead and do some pickups here with the same razor. No reason to screw up a perfectly nice process, I should say. Perfectly nice process. I don't know if I was supposed to use the same blade in all of these razors, but I just decided to go with whatever was in them. Yes, in my old lexicon, I guess I would call anything buffing that was just going over the same spot over and over. I'll do some true buffing, according to what I read, if I read it correctly. The razor doesn't leave the face. And then I'll do some that isn't maybe true buffing. I do kind of a form of J-hooking sometimes, which might, in some cases, I mean, I could be doing it right now or I could be doing it wrong. I don't remember. Because I will kind of go, like, make a true J sometimes, a J motion, which is a quick, or at least a kind of a short J type stroke, which I saw Mantic 59, I think it was doing. I'll do some true buffing right here in one of these trouble spots. Technically, I guess I never did any real buffing before. Yeah, that does seem to work right there. This is awfully nice so far. I don't know how crazy I want to go. This is nice. And I think I'll just do yeah, I think I'm done. Very nice. Very nice shave. I'm going to finish rinsing this off and rinse the brush and everything off, and I'll come back to you with your good friend and mine, Mr. Towel. Here he is. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him. It's our good friend, Mr. Towel. Very nice, very nice. Whew. After a shave like this, I feel like I clean up pretty good. Okay, I'll put Mr. Towel back where he belongs, and then I will commence with recaps and putting the finishing touches on the shave here. Okay, off camera and before the video started, I prepped my face with a Lievre Blanc shaving oil. And you can get that from a vendor on Etsy. My first razor, gee, can I remember what, well, it was with a Centwin blade on the third use of that blade. And I'm holding the wrong razor here. Oh boy, where is it? Here it is. It was the two-piece adjustable Merkur Progress razor on a 3, count them 3 setting right there. Okay, now my second razor for my second pass was the Merkur 34C HD, and also two-piece razor there, and in there I had a new old stock Professional blade, and that was its the second use on that. Okay. On my third pass and for pickups, I used the Merkur 37C two-piece slant razor, straight bar, not open comb, although it does have these little scallops on it. And in there, on its first use, was a Personna Lab Blue blade. Okay, that takes care of the razors. My brush was this. It is a synthetic kind of a tuxedo or two-band, well, tuxedo because of the black and white, I guess. Tuxedo synthetic knot, and from the Lancaster Razor Works, also online. Very attractive handle on that. I very much like that, and the shape of it. It's very easy to use. I lathered in the Timeless Razor shaving bowl, and my shaving cream was the Body Shop for Men Maca Root shave cream. Very nice, still good stuff. I don't see it used as much often or as much anymore, but I'm glad I used it again. I will continue to do so. And let's see, am I forgetting anything? I don't think so, so I'll move over here to Magic Cabinet number 2. And I suppose this was fancy enough of a shave to warrant the Humphreys unscented witch hazel. It sure has a nice label on it, and I don't know if you can see on camera, but if you've never used this, on the reverse side of the back label, there's like some pretty clouds and sky and stuff, which makes that kind of a three-dimensional picture there. It's really pretty. And this is nice stuff too, excuse me. Get that going there, and yeah, it was Jill at She Shaves with Jill that was telling me about, in the comments of my last video, was telling me that technically I wasn't buffing in that last video I did, the one before this one here. And okay, I went out and I popped out for a second, got some kitchen scissors, and cut that open, so cut the end off of that so I can I was just sniffing this, and it's like a, well, spicy, a very, I suppose you could call it something akin to a very spicy Old Spice or something. It's very nice. Well, let's see, a little on the wrists, a little behind the ears and the temples. That's really nice, and no sting or nothing. I'm going to put a little bit more and try to use this up. I'm going to use some of this fine platinum aftershave balm, since that's handy. It was there in the cabinet, and I thought I might put some of that on. Something a little different. Some slightly different scents here, but I don't think that these scents will have to battle it out. I think actually they're all nice scents which will complement one another. Only one time have I had two scents just try to battle it out and it wasn't working, but as a general rule, it all goes pretty nicely. Yes, sir. Well, that's it. Thank you for joining me. Sorry I keep going out of focus. Expensive phone and a weird camera is what I have ended up with here. Peace.